there is an unfathomable hurt and pain that's felt when a black man knows, and especially when he sees his son's life being taken by a racist coward who's paid to protect and serve, but instead they choose to provoke and shoot when they see people of our color. It's your man D Jenkins. You know what it is. I appreciate each and every last one of y'all. It's a blessing that you chiming in. If you vibing with me, do me a favor, like, share, comment, subscribe, and follow. And we're going to keep the content going. Now let's get to it. What up, great people? I just chimed in to chop it up with you about this thing we got going on in Ohio with our brother Rodney Hinton. I was asked about it, and I do have my take on it. I want to say this for those that been under a rock, maybe not know what's living under a rock and don't know what's going on. It's a story out of Ohio where a young man, 18-year-old Rodney Hinton, was unalived by the police, and they put out the videotape of it. And the story that they said, how they said it happened, it did not add up to what we saw on the body cam. Then it said a day later that Mr. Rodney Hinton, that he unalived a sheriff in Ohio, that he ran him down with his car. Now they say they have video footage of it. I haven't seen it. I don't know if anyone has seen it, but they say they have video footage of it, so it'll all come out. I do have my take on it. First of all, I want to say rest in peace. Rest in peace, Rodney Hinton. My condolences, deepest condolences and prayers go out to his family and friends, including Mr. Rodney Hinton. I also want to say rest in peace to the officer who lost his life a day after. My condolences, deepest condolences goes out to him and his family, to his family and friends, excuse me. I will say this. I do understand, though. I understand when it comes to Mr. Rodney Hinton. Now, I believe wholeheartedly that Mr. Hinton, I believe he needs to be treated with the same courtesy that an officer of the law does when they unalive a person and they state that the reason they did it, or the reason that they unalived the person, was because he fit or she fit the description of the suspect who might have unalived one of their fellow officers. We've seen this unfold many times. And I believe that he needs to be treated with that same courtesy, because there is something mental going on here that cannot be overlooked. Now, I don't advocate at all for unaliving any innocent person. I want to get that clear. I don't advocate that. However, there is an unfathomable hurt and pain that's felt when a black man knows, and especially when he sees his son's life being taken by a racist coward who's paid to protect and serve, but instead they choose to provoke and shoot when they see people of our color. I'm sorry, this is just the truth. This is a pain that the pain that Rodney Hinton feels, whether people want to acknowledge it or not, it weighs extremely heavy on the heart and the mind of a black father who loves his child or his children. It does. The problem is, too many in society, especially the police, they do not look at black men as loving fathers because of the highly distorted picture that this crooked society has painted, as well as the racist morals that have been passed down from generation to generation to many, not all, but to many white people throughout tradition. So yes, I understand it. I do. And if I was in his shoes, I want to make this clear. If I was in his shoes, I wouldn't have been satisfied with unaliving anyone other than the one who took my son from me. That's me. I'm just being honest. But I do understand that there is a mental agony that plays a major part in the rational thinking of a mourning father. It is. And again, my condolences to the officer's family and his friends. But in the words of his own laborers, he did. He fit the description. And what Mr. Hinton is feeling, only one who has lost their child to a violent crime as such can even begin to understand. And this is why it's so important that good police, instead of pledging allegiance to this blue code, they should vow to God to uphold righteousness with the authority that's granted them, and hold any and all of their fellow officers accountable when they abuse their power, especially when it results in the unaliving of an individual, especially when it results in the unaliving of an innocent individual. They should hold them accountable instead of helping them to cover it up and lying for them. But we see it over and over and over again. It's just like those who are angry at Mr. Hinton. All those same cops that's mad at him, they should be furious at all their brothers who helped paint this target on all of their backs for the racial profiling, for the the biased treatment, for the disregard for the lives of a certain demographic of people. They should hold them accountable. In fact, one thing I can guarantee you is this. If one of them does something as devious as what they did to the little brother Rodney Hinton, and a lawsuit was granted, if that money was not instead of the money and the lawsuit coming from the city, if it came from the retirement funds of those those police in that district, I guarantee you they would start holding one another accountable for these evil and racist actions. I guarantee you. Because I don't care how prejudiced, some of these white people are. Some of them hate black people, but you mess with their money and you white, they gonna hate you too. Real talk. So if they would start holding each other accountable, and for the brothers that in the force that's not speaking up, I guarantee you they start speaking up and holding one another accountable. Because we just seen an incident with some brothers beat another brother to death. It's this power trip. But if the ones that's good behind that badge will start holding the bad ones accountable because their money was being, I guarantee you, if you mess with their money, I guarantee you they will hold them accountable. Now, in the initial arraignment, right, we all see how the police showed up in numbers as a form of intimidation to our brother. They hawked that brother down, mean mugged him down, but he held up strong and he kept his head up. And we as black people and any other real father who understands his gripe, we're proud of him maintaining his dignity amongst those heathens. We are. But what I pray our people don't do is look at Mr. Hinton's bravery and his accountability and be so enthused and infatuated with his strength that we become insensitive to the agony he's feeling from the loss of his son. Because I know my brother standing strong. We seen him. And we know he's going to be held accountable for his actions because they say they even got videotape of it. But the pain that he feels from losing his baby to these demonic barbarians is ever present and it's heart-wrenching. And I know he's crying tonight at the SAL, man. I know he's battling with what he's dealing with. He's going through something mental. Regardless of what transpired after, he still has to face the fact that they unalived his 18-year-old son. Don't let that be overshadowed.
Neglection is a form of rejection that forms depression in the fatherless and all those obsessed with being protected, which often leads to drug abuse, trying to escape depression and infections that have formed from the scars of violent concessions. They crying out, but y'all busy flexing and being messy like baby bibs. Won't raise your kids and trying to kill the next one, then spin again. It never ends, the cycle of deflection. No accountability, just pointing fingers at the next one. Which direction are we headed if we can't manage aggression?